Hi everyone, welcome back to LL Sports TV. Hope you're well. Another quick football video today I'm doing. Just to give you some context. Now, my brother Robbie, you know him, Robbie, he approached me a couple of days ago, asked me if I wanted a ticket for the England versus Greece game. So he reached out to me to go to the game along with his beautiful daughter Kenya, and I said, you know what, I've got another engagement that night. I'm not sure if I can make it. But then I thought, you know what, going along to the game, my brother's always an experience. And then I remembered that previously when I'd gone to an England game, which is round about a year to the day, I'd gone to an England game. They played Italy at Wembley. I think it was on the 17th of October. Went to that game. England performed really well. Smoked Italy, really. Won 3-1. That was in the Euro qualifiers game. So based on that, I thought, you know what? I'll take up his offer for the ticket. So I went to the England versus Greece game. Looking forward to it. Getting the ground. Ground's full, 78,000 plus. Greek fans are there making a lot of noise. I thought, yeah, man, this is going to be a good night. However, it was very, very different to what I anticipated it was going to be. And in short, I'm just going to lay it on the line, man. England were dismal, man. Dismal, turgid, tepid, lacking in structure, lacking in intensity, no shape, no structure. One word, shambolic. And it was their first defeat at Wembley in over 4 years. Yeah, we lost 2-1. So much to unpack, but let's start with the formation. So Lee Carsley, the interim England manager, as it were, he decided, I don't know what made him do this, but he decided that he was going to play what can only be described as a 4-2-4 formation with no striker. I mean, straight away, when I heard that, I was like, bro, what are you doing? So England are playing against Greece in a Nations League game. So it's not a friendly game, it's a competitive game, and you've gone without a striker. To me, straight away, I thought that looked blatantly ridiculous. I actually considered it a disrespect to Greece, actually, because let's be honest, man. Would Carsley have gone without a striker if he would have been playing France, Germany, Brazil, Argentina? Obviously, he wouldn't have done. So straight away, I thought that's a big disrespect to Greece. And I also thought it was a disrespect to the England strikers that were in the squad. I mean, Ollie Watkins is a very good striker. So too is Dominic Solanke, both making their way. You imagine their faces when they saw the lineup and saw that they were not in the team. You know what I mean? That England were going to go with a false nine, Bellingham up front. I'm sure they wouldn't have been very happy. I mean, again, if Harry Kane had been available for selection, do you really think that Lee Carsley would have gone without a number 9 up top? Of course he wouldn't. So that kind of tells its own story. So straight away, as soon as I saw that, that had me on the back foot. I thought that's nonsense. To the match itself, despite not having a recognised striker up front, England still had some big names. You know what I mean? Bellingham, Trent, Saka, Anthony Gordon. You know what I mean? They had names in that team, in Foden. You know what I mean? Big names were playing. Like, England supposed to beat Greece. There's no question about it. And even if they don't beat Greece, they're supposed to put in a much better performance than what they did. But anyway, to the game itself, England started off the game in possession, but they were mainly passing the ball around at the back. No real penetration, weren't really going anywhere. You could see straight away England lacked intensity. Whereas Greece started off a little nervous. In fact, I don't think they touched the ball in the first couple of minutes. But they settled down, and one thing you noticed straight away about Greece, they were organised, they were disciplined, defended well, kept their shape, and you could see they were growing in confidence. And it wasn't long after the start when they started to hit England on the counter-attack. I mean, England was so easy to play through, it was ridiculous. No shape, like I said. And Greece, you could see they were well-drilled, well-structured, and they started to believe in themselves incrementally as the game went on. And to the point where, after a while, they started to look the more dangerous team. England may have had more possession, but as we know in football, possession is often a fallacy, because you can have a lot of the ball, but if you're not doing much with it, then it doesn't really make much sense. Greece definitely looked to have more cutting edge on the night than we would. So that was becoming more and more apparent. And when the first half went, there's a lot of moans and groans in the crowd, a lot of surprised looks, 0-0, but England had not played well. And like I said, Greece you could see that they were growing in confidence. So you think in second half, manager's going to rip into them a little bit, get things going, maybe make a couple of substitutions. No, none of that happened. Same kind of pattern. And after 4 minutes of the second half, Greece actually scored. And I'm going to be honest, man, they could have scored earlier in the first half. They were denied. I think the goal was ruled out. But, you know, the warning signs were there. We didn't take them. And then we go 1-0 down to Pavlidis. I think he scored the goal. Greece 1-0 up. You're thinking, wow, come on, man. Make some changes, change the formation, get the team going. But Carsley did little of that. And it's the same kind of pattern. We did manage to pull a goal back, courtesy of a well-taken goal by Bellingham. I think it was in the 87th minute. And just as you're thinking that England are going to somehow get a draw, which, let's face it, they didn't really deserve, they go and fumble around at the back and allow Pavlidis to dribble through the team in the 94th minute, and Greece go on to win the game 2-1. And I've got to be honest and say that 2-1 scoreline does not necessarily reflect what should have happened, because I think Greece had the ball in the net something like 5 times for the game. A couple of offsides or whatever, but, you know, think about that. They had the ball in the net 5 times, people. And again, it just exemplified as to how poor England looked right from the off. They were poor. Greece are deserved winners. Their first ever win at Wembley, by the way. And as I said, England were really poor. And I've got to be honest, man, it was a very disappointing night. England were booed off at the end, quite deservedly so. And yeah, it was poor, man. And listen, I don't like to dig players out unnecessarily, but I'm going to say this, man. There was a lot of players there that did not perform. A lot of them, you know what I mean? I'm going to name a few now. I call it worst amongst equals. And I've got to start with Jordan Pickford. He was terrible. His kicking was poor. His communication with a back four was also poor. He looked edgy, looked shaky. He weren't on it for whatever reason, man. Rico Lewis, Man City, didn't have a very good game. Got bullied at times, gave away the ball, looked shaky at the back. Anthony Gordon, who got taken off game, didn't perform at all, man. Didn't very rarely looked to go past the defender, and even when he did, didn't do anything with it. Cut in, passed it, didn't really do anything. Totally ineffective. Got to call out Phil Foden, a very good player for Man City. We all know what he's capable of, but I've got to be honest. Last night he was poor, and I'm going to say this, man. Phil Foden. It's been a while since I've seen that guy performing in England shirt. He keeps getting a big build-up, and I get it. He's a very talented player. We all know that from his Man City exploits. But for England yesterday, and you know, like I said, I can't quite remember. I mean, he had a few moments in the Euros, but he's never really taken charge of a game the way you see he would do that for City. So yeah, he was poor. Even our own Bukayo Saka, he came off with what looked like an injury. I'm hearing it could be ligament damage. We don't know the exact nature of the injury, but I've got to say, man, Bukayo was one of those that didn't perform. I'm one of his biggest fans. He was another one. But listen, the whole team did not perform at all. It was very disappointing, man. And I've got to call out the manager, Lee Carsley. I mean, if that was an audition for the England job, then he failed miserably. I mean, I'm calling him Car Crash Carsley because that was ridiculous yesterday. And then to compound matters, he gave an interview after the game, which I found quite bizarre. I mean, in it, Lee Carsley's talking about looking forward to getting back to manage the under-21s. I mean, what does that mean? Does he want the job or not? I mean, what's going on here? I mean, it really was shambolic, man. But one thing I would say, man, I've got to big up Greece, man. I mean, coming into this game, Greece were, I think they were 48 in FIFA rankings. They didn't qualify for the Euros. They're going for a bit of a transition. They'd never previously beaten England in a competitive game, never won at Wembley, never even scored at Wembley before the game. But they were fully deserved of their win. Like I said, they defended well. They were structured, they were organised, they were well drilled, they took their chances well, and they deserved to win. And there was a nice little touch from their players after the game, a nice little fitting tribute to the recently deceased George Baldock, who's played for Greece quite a few times. So yeah, that was nice. So listen, man, big up to Greece, they deserved their win. But England, man, that was, you know what, it's funny because I sat next to Robbie in Kenya and we were talking, and I was saying that watching England that night made me feel blessed to be an Arsenal fan, because the performance was so turgid, so tepid, that you're thinking, wow, man, like, come on. And why it's so inexcusable is because you looked at some of the players that were playing for England and you think, come on, man, you've got to do better than this. So you've got to blame the manager, but you've also got to blame the players, because the type of players that we had on the pitch yesterday, we're supposed to win that game, bro, or at the very least not lose it. I mean, no disrespect to Greece, but I don't think there's one Greek player that could get in the England team. And that's pretty much facts. I don't even think their fans would disagree with that. So, yeah, man, the final analysis, a very poor night for England. I think the only positives to come out of yesterday, apart from the fitting tribute to George Baldock, was the fact that Lee Carsley probably will not be England manager. He won't be in the running anymore for that job. I can't see him getting the job anymore. He pretty much talked himself out of it as well, like I said, with that bizarre post-match interview when he's talking about going back to manage the 21s. So, yeah, man, very, very poor performance. I thought I'd come on here and lay it bare, and maybe you guys saw the game, maybe you didn't. Let me know what you think. But, yeah, that's all I've got for today. Thanks very much for watching. Really appreciate your support, as I always do. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.